So, Bloodlines 2 have a completely new story now. Paradox Interactive announced that the Chinese Room, a Sumo digital studio, is developing the game sequel, and we can expect the gameplay reveal trailer for Bloodlines 2 in January 2024, and its launch in fall 2024. The Chinese Room brings their award-winning storytelling to Bloodlines 2, creating a high-quality Vampire The Masquerade action RPG by talented developers with AAA experience. That is what they say, but I am not hyped, even if they pull of the story in a best way possible. I'm skeptical about the gameplay experience. Now why I am saying this, because of NVIDIA and AMD new DLSS and FSR technology crap. This DLSS and FSR made all big gaming company lazy and dumb. We are in 2023 now, and yet we get game releases like these in 2023 with this new technology, which has definitely ruined gaming hype. For me, we know the game has undergone significant development challenges, including delays and changes in the development team. Originally set for release in 2020, the game has faced multiple setbacks, including the departure of key creative figures and the involvement of a new development studio, the Chinese Room. In this video, we'll delve into the controversy surrounding the game's development, the change in the protagonist, and the impact of these alterations on the overall story. Let's get started. Now, coming back to the topic here. We all know that the game's main character, Fiery, has been revealed as an elder kindred who was embraced in the early 17th century. You'll be able to customize Fire by choosing gender, clan, outfits, behavior, and more, but their actions will have consequences on the world around them and how the story progresses. The recent reveal of the Tremere and Bruja clans has provided insight into the diverse playstyles and abilities that players can expect in the game. Additionally, the Chinese Room has promised different gameplay mechanics and RPG systems, indicating a departure from the traditional RPG start seen in the original Bloodlines game. Troika had already created a good story, an environment, characters, and dialogue systems in the most memorable RPG, following Brian Mitsoda and the other writers for years simply because the prowess with their character creation is almost peerless in this industry. I'm disappointed that Bloodlines 2 original concept has been thrown in trash and reworked, but I'm still hopeful for Bloodlines 2 story will have some elements of the old surprises in the story telling aspects. Especially in 2023, full of crappy, incomplete, buggy messes that cost us more, and passing them off as next-gen AAA quality games. The Chinese Room is known for creating groundbreaking first-person titles that have won awards and more for their emotionally rich narrative-driven games. The studio Vtm's world-class background puts them above for the narrative. For the vampire story set in modern Seattle, reimagined for a World of Darkness action RPG. This is what the director of the studio, Ed Daly, has to say. We are bringing more than 15 years of award-winning experience to the project, creating a game that honors the legacy of its predecessor while bringing its gameplay to the modern era. So, if the Chinese Room can write a decent story that works well for Bloodlines 2, not that I discredit Mitsoda, not at all, but from my prospects, he's not the only one capable of writing a compelling story and thinking it's going to suck big time without his role in it, especially since Mitsoda wasn't the lone author of first game story, but part of the Devolver's team. Now, the story from the first game was good, featuring tons of huge voice acting talent, a killer soundtrack, and some of the best writing of any video game from that year. The game has more than enough to keep just about anyone coming back for another playthrough, even over a decade and a half after its release. One of the most remarkable aspects of Bloodlines is its willingness to explore territories that games typically avoiding now, often reserved for mature-rated films and novels. This game stands out for its exceptional writing, immersive setting, and strong sense of place, which are rare finds in the gaming industry. This is what happens when an already exciting, creative setting meets a dedicated team of gifted world designers in the gaming industries. The graphics are old now. Since the game was released decades back, There are some mods updating the graphics and some that add new content and quest, giving you enough to play the game a few times over without getting bored. Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines is one of my absolute favorite game. I played it over and over. I gave up on Bloodlines 2 ever coming out back in 2020, and here it is, now actually coming out in fall 2024. Despite the game being rushed into an early release by the publisher, which resulted in frequent game-breaking bugs and a generally unpolished state, Bloodlines 2 remains to be seen. We have to wait for an official gameplay trailer reveal. In January 2024, to get a glimpse of how this new story unfolds. So, apparently, we are no longer going to be playing a thin blood trying to survive and earn respect of other clans. But an elder vampire named Fire, fully voiced with Eastern European accent, who awakes after 100 of years into the modern world, where you are the unknown person. There, and try to figure out what's going on in the current timeline, and trying to figure out how you end up like this in the first place. Now, I think it's very dumb, and sometimes dumb things work well, because this is a video game. After all, especially an RPG, involves progression, but hey, it's not like we have anything that matter here at this point. There is also dialogue choices reflect what the character will actually say. Here I like the fact that they actually voiced the main character. Now, the game was hyped up for the fact that we will have the same lead writers. They are the ones writing the story and how good they at it. Bloodlines. Had some of best narrative till day. Now, the Chinese room has nothing to do with that decision, which isn't to say they can't write a good story. I'm hoping it's good. But I just don't know if it has any resemblance to the originally planned from the beginning. The combat in the game is looking promising, and it's challenging to make mistakes with the different clans, as they require more effort to showcase their unique combat styles. However, I'm eagerly anticipating glimpses of the social dynamics within the clans through future reveals. Thankfully, this aligns with my expectations that the game will offer a great Vampire the Masquerade experience, even if it may not excel specifically in its portrayal of Bloodlines. Overall, combat appears to be a strong aspect currently. In Bloodlines 2, it is unlikely that clan society will be featured, so the focus is on how players strategize during quests. Having 3 clans with equal power in the 4 available slots seems unlikely, especially since the Tereader and Bruja clans already have similar abilities. However, the clans in the game are not just about fighting. Despite Hard Suit Lab's failure to deliver, their initial concept captured the essence of Vampire the Masquerade, while the current game emphasizes the combat aspect. So, what's happening with Bloodlines 2? The short answer is that the game looked fucking terrible, and they weren't going to have a finished product of acceptable quality to meet their original launch date. Hardsuit wasn't equipped to do an RPG, and the people they had hired and who had worked on RPGs they fired, the original writer from BL, One Mitsoda, they fired after using him to hype the product, so there's a managerial disconnect there. They decided to delay the game indefinitely and restructure internally. This was done to avoid repeating the mistakes of the previous game, which was released unfinished. Changes included moving development to a new studio, firing senior staff members, and upsetting some fans. However, many people saw these changes as necessary and positive. Overall, the situation suggests that the game will likely improve from its current state. So, what's happening with Bloodlines 2? Clan reveal. Bloodlines 2 aims to create a unique experience for each clan, resulting in fewer playable options. Each clan offers a different role-playing experience, and their reputation can either benefit or hinder the player. While other characters may have preconceived notions based on the player's clan, they are free to defy those expectations. Players have control over establishing their character's backstory and will face consequences based on their choices. Reputation is affected by actions as well as speech. And clan relationships impact players' ability to work with specific characters. Manipulating others requires reading and understanding them, and revealing too much too soon can be risky. The game encourages players to be strategic and use their heads to navigate vampire society, as the endings will be influenced by the player's ability to outmaneuver others. The game's role-playing systems are connected to the tabletop game, and the writers conducted extensive research. Players can choose to embody the characteristics of an elder vampire, even declaring humans as mere cattle if desired. The game aims to strike a balance between horror, drama, comedy, and despair, but ultimately reminds players that vampires are not nice individuals. In conclusion, the backlash and changes surrounding Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 have undoubtedly stirred up a range of opinions and emotions within the gaming community. As the game's release approaches, it will be interesting to see how these developments ultimately shape the final product. Thank you for watching, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.